those are the table setting that we're going to need to do to get ready to be on Zoom and on streaming. And I'll provide additional information in the chat so that you can have a great meeting and a great Zoom experience. Brenda.
Look at that. Did you notice how he pulled it out a little bit? Just a little bit more. You know what I do sometimes, Christopher, was like if I need a little bit more time, I repeat it because there's probably like one or two people that came in the Zoom after you started all the things and they missed the whole part of everything. So thank you, my friend, for doing that. You are awesome. I am going to share the YouTube playback link into the chat right now. If I were you, actually, let me ask you for a favor. This will really help me out. Could you open up the YouTube in another window and have that live stream? Because I think that helps me towards my watch hours, does it not? Does anyone know if somebody opens up the live stream? Are there any YouTube experts in the house? Anyone? I think it counts. So open up the YouTube in another window, mute it so you're not getting the weird echo thing going. And if it's playing in the background, I think that helps me to get more watch hours on my channel, which helps me towards the monetization, which is a goal I'm working on right now. At any rate, thank you so much, Christopher, for kicking us off. I want to welcome everyone and thank you so much for joining us for today's March 7th, 2025 Friday VIP Job Seeker Office Hours. My name is Brenda Meller and I am your host. I am a LinkedIn coach and specialist, and I work with individuals who are self-employed, who are business professionals, and also supporting the job seeking community to help you to get a bigger slice of the LinkedIn pie. I started these office hours actually during the pandemic, and I saw an immediate need with people who were being displaced from their organizations, no fault of their own. And it started to kind of accelerate during the pandemic. And we've in recent times seen, the workforce coming back. And then we've seen some changes that are happening in our world right now that are impacting even more people. And we're starting to see more job seekers flooding the market. So we've created this as a place for you to come to month after month as a community of fellow job seekers for you to find your team. Because when you're in career transition, you don't have that team that you had when you were in the workplace. So we've always created this as a group to help you to find your team. Now, the way that today's office hour will work is we're going to start with introductions from our all-star career strategy experts. I'm going to ask those individuals to do the raise hand right now so that I can make you a co-host, and that will also allow me to pull you up on screen and do your introductions in just a few moments. And what I'll ask you to do in your introductions is tell us your name and anything that you'd like to share that can help the job seeking community. Maybe you have an upcoming event that you're promoting. Maybe you have a service that you do. Maybe you help people with resumes or salary negotiation or career strategy. Promote whatever you would like to promote. I so appreciate that you're being on the call with us and donating your time. And I do want to make sure that individuals on the call know that this is what you do for your business. So I want to make sure that you get that opportunity to promote yourself. So we'll do that first. And then I will ask two of you who are job seeking and new to the call if you'd like to introduce yourself. If you would like to introduce yourself, I want you to go into chat right now and just type in new, like I just did as an example, NEW. If it's your first time coming into the call, I'm going to call on two of you and have you introduce yourself. And in your introduction, it's going to be brief. I'm going to have you tell us your name, your targeted job title, your targeted geographic area, and how you heard about us. And I'll remind you what that is again. So if you're like, what did she say? I'll remind you again, but it's going to be brief. Your name, targeted job title, targeted geographic area, and how you heard about us. This is a great opportunity to get some visibility from within the group. And also to, you never know, you might introduce yourself and someone might go, oh, I know of an accounting position in Wichita, Kansas, and they might refer an opportunity to you. So use this as an opportunity to get visibility for yourself. Okay. So go into chat and type in new if you'd like to do so. And I guess we'll start off with our introductions right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put our all-star experts into a gallery here, and I'll put you in like a grid of 4 at a time. And you all know what to do. Introduce yourself, and then you'll turn the virtual baton over to the next person, and I'll take you off of the spotlight. So go right ahead.
So good morning, everyone. Hi, I'm Diana Stevens, and I have a company called Mindful Job Alignment. I actually wear a couple of hats. I have my own business. I do job seeker groups bi-weekly. Mine will be next Friday on the 14th of March. And I am excited to announce that my colleague Kenneth Lang, who is in the next square over, is going to be with me that day, and we are going to be answering all your questions about resumes because both Kenneth and I work at Lee Hecht Harrison as branding specialists, where we are redoing and revising resumes every day for Lee Hecht Harrison outplacement. But in my company, I work with individuals on their job search. I also have master classes, and I focus on two different things. One is the tactical side of job search, which we all need, which is the resume, LinkedIn branding, interviewing, and general job support, networking, and whatnot. But I also do quite a deep dive into the emotional side of job search and working with people on stress relief and incorporating stress relief techniques into their job search. I also offer a monthly master class, which goes for 3 days. I will be sending out some information on the March master class, which will be starting up at the end of March. We're going to be expanding that a little bit. And if you're curious about that, one of my former students is on this call, David Mills. He was in my last master class, so you can feel free to ask him about his experience. But I look forward to meeting all of you. Please do so. I put my information into the chat, including the link for the job seeker group, and I look forward to seeing all of you next Friday. So Kenneth, take it away.
Thank you very much, Diana. Great to have you join us on Lee Hecht Harrison on the team. My name is Kenneth Lang, and this week what I wanted to promote were some events I'm going to be doing. First of all, if you're in Central New Jersey, I'll be at the Breakfast Club tomorrow, 9:30 in the morning. It's at the East Brunswick Library. We're gonna have a great panel there of people. I'm also gonna be doing events this week, two on Tuesday, Lions and Tigers and Resumes with Virginia Franco and Claire Davis. I'm doing an AI event with George Pace on Tuesday night. And later in the week, we're doing another portfolio careers event with Christine Dykman and Joyce Fine. What I wanted to also mention today was some of you have reached out to me, and I've reached out to you with My Networking Central, which is relaunching finally. What I would ask is if you are joining the site, we're adding dates on there in addition to your profile. So if you have dates to some of your future events, please let me know. We'll put them in there, and that way you can do additional promotion. For those of you that want to know more about My Networking Central, I'm going to put a link to the chat. Right now, I want to thank a lot of the people on this call for joining me on the first phase of it. You're welcome to stay on. And I'm going to also post links to the chat, to the events as well. But I want to thank everyone for being here. I'm going to be away for 2 weeks after this on some digital detox in Florida. So I'm looking forward to that. And Mindy, take it away. Have a great day, everyone.
Thanks, Kenneth. Sounds like you need that digital detox with all that stuff going on.
Yep.
I am Mindy Stern, and I am your career accelerator. And what I help job seekers do is just fast track their job search. All of us career coaches who are on the call, working with Brenda, we all have your best interest at heart. We have all been there, done.
Oh, Mindy, you're frozen. Mindy may not know that she's frozen either. This is
And
the
that's what I
challenging-
love to do.
Mindy,
One
you
of the things
froze
I
up.
am most proud about
Mindy?
is that I
Mindy?
host a group
Hello?
called the Accelerators.
Mindy,
Yes.
you froze up and we missed a big portion of that. So could you start over?
Can you hear me now?
We can
Yes.
hear you now, but you froze and then your audio was kept going and you couldn't hear me saying Mindy, Mindy,
Oh,
Mindy.
no, I couldn't hear. I'm so
So
sorry.
I'm gonna have
Okay.
you just rewind and start over.
Here we go.
Zoop.
We didn't hear any of that.
Yeah.
Okay, so I am a career accelerator, which means that I help you fast track your career. Wherever you want to be next, that's where we want to help you go. And all of us who are on this call, all of us that Brenda calls her VIPs or whatever you call us, I feel honored to be a part of this group because I know what you're going through. I also was laid off. I'm coming up on my 11-year anniversary of helping job seekers do better. But I was laid off. I was the HR director of a very large bank. And one day it was my day to leave. And I said, you know what? I'm going to start my own company, which is what I did. So May 2nd is my anniversary. What I am most proud about doing is helping job seekers and giving them information, giving you the information you need to do a good job search so that you're not wasting your time, because a lot of this is spinning your wheels and there's a lot of ghosting. I sent out a post yesterday about job scams. We want you to be prepared, be vigilant, and have all the tools that you need to get to the next level. On Tuesday, I am hosting Jihan Adrianowski. I probably messed up her name, but anyway, we know her as G. We love her. She's got fabulous energy, and she's going to be talking to us about how to create value and visibility on LinkedIn and beyond. And so if you know anything about G and her energy, you're going to want to join us. I am putting a link in the chat so that you can register right from there. There's no charge for that event. We just want you to come and learn, and I will be putting it on YouTube when we get done. So I hope to see you there. I hope you learned something today, and that's my goal. And I hope you have a great rest of the day. I'm sending it over to Joey.
Thanks, Minnie. Good morning, all. I'm Joey Himmelfarb. I am an author and a speaker. I have been speaking about helping unemployed professionals sell themselves in the job search for the last 2+ decades. I wrote a book about it. I'm writing a second one as we speak. And I'm on these calls to help you stay positive and upbeat. My mantra is positive beats negative every day. So I'd like to insist, for lack of a better word, that you remain positive and upbeat, especially as you're looking for work, because nobody wants to deal with a Debbie Downer or a toxic tone. So I'll keep my mouth shut if I have to, but if I have to, I will speak up and try to bring you back from the dark side. Thanks. Chris, you're up.
Hours on the first Thursday of every month. You can find that link in the chat. It is a place where you can get your questions answered regarding Zoom and streaming and being better with the technology. So now I'll pass it over to Paul.
Good morning, everyone, and glad to see you all. Chris, I love hearing your voice. It's just so calm and so cool. It's just a great voice. So thank you for that. Like everyone else, I am a career coach. I specialize in project planning your job search, finding out where am I at, how do I get moving, how do I get to the place where I have a job. And the book that I wrote is all about doing that. The event that I'd like to highlight today, if you know anyone who is under 30 years old and starting out in their job search and they're starting out in their career and having trouble, I run an accountability group on the first Friday of each month. So same as this, from 1 to 2:30 Eastern, called the Yo Joe Club, for Young Job Seekers Club. And in that club, everybody gets 10 minutes to share what's going on in their job search and ask a question of the rest of the group. And then that should take no more than like 2 minutes. The rest of their time is the group brainstorming together. How do we resolve that question? What are some of the best practices from the people in the group that have worked for them? And people just love that type of accountability group. So if you know of any youngster who needs that help, by all means, reach out to me and I'll be happy to share the link. I'll also put it in the chat in just a moment. But right now, I just put in my contact information. So if you want or need that. Looking forward to helping you all in any way that I can. Thank you very much. Linda, always great to see you.
Hi, everybody. I'm Linda Brubaker. And like everybody else on this call, all of our VIP All-Stars, I'm a career coach. But my specialty is that I bring you insights from both sides of the recruiting desk. I'm a former recruiter with over 20 years of experience in internal and external recruiting, headhunting, hiring manager, being a hiring manager and an HR business partner. But I've been a dedicated career coach, job search coach now for the past 8 years, and I'm really excited to be able to bring that experience to all of you. My specialty is helping you determine what your transferable skills are and how do you translate those skills into the job you want, both in terms of your resume, your cover letter, your LinkedIn posts, making you that subject matter expert that everybody wants to connect with, as well as doing your interview prep so that you're providing the skills, the experiences, and the stories that help you relate to the new job, not just to the job you've had. So that's my background. I host a weekly job search group on Zoom. We call it Job Search Lunch and Learn. We meet at 11 o'clock Central Time every week. And I'm going to put the link to the chat there. We have networking support as well as job search tips and great speakers as well on occasion. So please join us. I'll put the link in the chat.
Linda, I have to ask, is that a real background behind you or is that a virtual background? I want to bring you back up on screen for a second, if you don't mind. You're muted right now. You did the same thing I did. I muted myself when I asked the question. Is that real?
It's a virtual background.
It looks real. It looks like it's just in your office. And I used to color coordinate my books instead of alphabetically organize them. And I love how the color coordinated stacks are there. They're really cool. Thank you for answering that. I was just kind of curious as you were talking. Yeah, appreciate it. All right. So that's it. That's our career strategy all stars. And we're going to now get into, I'm going to ask two of you who are new to the call to introduce yourself. I should probably say who I am, a little bit about myself as well. So my name is Brenda Meller. I am your host for these calls. Again, I am a LinkedIn coach, and I did drop a link into chat if you'd like to learn more about my services. I do want to give everyone a heads up. I've made a decision to change the focus of these calls. So today's focus will be on individuals who are job seeking in career transition, looking for a new job. We're here to answer your questions as it relates to finding a new job today. We've got these awesome career strategy all-stars who are going to be helping answer questions. We're going to move into that after we do a couple of job seeker introductions. But I did want to let you know I've made a decision based on the direction I'm going with my business that today's call will be the last time we're focusing on job seekers in career transition looking for a new job. Next month, I'm going to be changing the focus out, and it will be job seekers who are in career transition, but who are considering becoming self-employed. So maybe you've been at this job search a while. Maybe you are experience rich. I like to say experience rich instead of older candidate or mature worker or whatever, but maybe you've come to the conclusion for yourself that maybe you want to become self-employed and you're starting to evaluate. A lot of times when I'm working with the job seekers who fall into that category, they are like equally looking at both routes. Finding a full-time job, I'm still looking for that. But now I'm also open to the possibility of starting my own business and becoming self-employed because I've got so much knowledge from over the years and so much value and so much passion about what I do that I'm thinking about starting my own job. So how do I start that process off? Okay. So next month, that will be the new focus. I will be sending out an email with the details on all of this. Those of you who are in career transition are certainly welcome to join us. If you know anybody who's already on the path to becoming self-employed, they are welcome to join us. It will be free. It will be the first Friday every month. It will be live stream and broadcast onto my YouTube channel, similar as before, but we're going to be changing the focus up just a little bit. So I want to talk about why I'm doing this, and I'm going to show you this Post-it note. My friend Laura was telling the story once about, and it's basically, it was a college rowing team. And they, as a group, were deciding when to make decisions. And this was the ultimate question for the rowing team. How does this help the boat go faster? If it's not something that's helping the boat go faster, they don't do it. So for me, I'm thinking about the direction I'm going for my business. I am self-employed and I've been self-employed for going on 7 years now. I want to continue to stay self-employed. So I'm getting more focused on areas that are showing some growth opportunity for me, supporting the self-employed jobs, self-employed market is the area of focus. Just like for you as a job seeker, you're focusing on applying for positions where you're getting interviews and doing strategies that are helping to move you further into the process, as opposed to busy time, the black hole of job search, which isn't really as productive, right? So I've made a conscious decision to shift more of my business into supporting those of you who are considering self-employment or are already self-employed. Okay. So just to let you know, that's coming up. But this call today will still be focused on all of you who are in career transition and job seeking. And with that said, I see there were two people who I'm going to call on as newbies to the group here. Summer, you're going to go first, and then we will have Bill going second. So Summer, are you able to unmute yourself and can you turn your video on? If not, you can just talk, but I'll have you go first if you don't mind. So hi, Summer, if you could tell us your name, your targeted job title, targeted geographic area, and how did you hear about us?
Hi. Okay, yeah, thank you for having me. This seems like a very valuable group, and it's really cool that it's live and interactive like this. And I was like, I need to, become less like afraid of like speaking in public settings. So I was like, okay, I'll be the first one to hit new and follow instructions and hit new. Yeah, my name's Summer. I do marketing. I'm in Austin, Texas. My specialties are like corporate event planning. So that's kind of where I'm looking to continue in my career doing corporate event planning. So like event marketing manager is a title. Field marketing manager is another title that I discovered like recently in the past couple months. And I can't remember if I said this. I'm in Austin,
And then
Texas.
what's your targeted geographic area, Summer?
Austin, Texas.
Austin, Texas. And then how did you hear about this call for today?
It was on a post you commented.
Okay.
So someone, I was laid off recently, and
Sorry.
there's a lot of those posts out there, just
Yeah.
people being laid off.
I hear
So just going to the comments and people agreeing with it, and you were like, I think
come into the group. Awesome.
Yeah.
Summer, if you could, I'm not sure if you already put your introduction into chat, but if you could put your introduction into chat now that you're up on screen. And I'm just going to briefly mention, like, here's the format I'd like you to do, and for everyone else on the call who's looking for a new position. You don't need to say, hi, my name is Brenda Meller in the chat, because it will already say Brenda Meller to everyone in the Zoom. But what I want you to say is your targeted job title. Give us one or two of those job titles, your targeted geographic area, so Austin, Texas, and then put your LinkedIn URL and make sure that you're including the full HTTPS, because that way people on the call can click on it and they can connect with you during the call. It's a really great way of building up your connections with fellow job seekers. You know, we've got over 50 people on the call here today, so highly recommend you giving that a try. And thank you so much, Summer, for being on with us. You did a great job. All right, Bill, you are up next, sir. Are you able to unmute yourself and turn your video on, and then we will pull you up on screen? Is it Bill? I think it might be Bill S. Does that sound right?
I want to, let's see. I'm a Bill who is unmuted, so maybe.
Oh, okay. It's
maybe
you,
you're
Bill.
speaking.
It's you.
Oh, all
Yeah.
right.
Are you able to put video on or not able to?
Yes, I will be able to. Hold on.
Okay. Give him a second here.
Okay.
And I'll add you to the spotlight. There we go. Hey, Bill. Okay, so if you could tell us again your name, targeted job title, targeted geographic area, and how did you hear about us?
All right. Well, again, my name is Bill Meany. I'm in the New York City area, and I'm looking for something that would be, I guess I would say, organizational development specialist or training specialist, because I have a background in L&D for many years. And a change management would also probably be another area. So, you know, again, change agent, change management specialist, something like that.
Okay, wonderful. And how did you hear about us?
Let's see. Originally, Abby Kohut.
Oh, good. Yeah. And Abby does a call, I think, like once a month. It's like a weeknight call, if I'm not mistaken. So great to hear. So awesome. Well, we're glad you found us, Bill. I'm going to move you off of screen. And Bill, if you could drop your introduction into chat. If you did it earlier, do it again now, because now that you've been on screen, it'll bring you tap to the chat there for people that want to connect with you. And maybe someone's heard of an opportunity, they can bring it to your attention. So thank you for doing that. All right. And I want to do a quick once over in the attendee list, because this is my one chance to see who's on the call. And I want you to know I saw you on the call here today. So good morning and welcome to Christopher, Diana, Joey, Kenneth, Linda, Mindy, Paul, Allison, Amy, Anthony, Becky, Belle, Bill 1 and Bill 2. We got Club Bill in the house. Brendan, Christine, David M, David S, David W. 3 Davids on the call. Welcome all you 3. Debbie, Elena, we've got JD, Jamie, Jennifer, Jerry, nice to see you again. Jessica, John, how you doing? Jose, Karen, H and Karen L, Lisa, Mary, Marianne, Maya, Michelle, nice to see you. Mike M, Ray, Rodrigo, Samir, Sandra R, and Sandra W. 2 Sandras in the house today. Scott, Sophie, Stephen, Summer, Susan, Suzanne, Tammy, Vic the Pie Man. Pie Day's coming up next week, everyone, by the way. And Wendy. I want to say good morning and welcome to all of you. I want you to know that we see you in the chat here today. And by the way, if there are fellow job seekers that you're not seeing in the chat today that you know have been a part of us along the way, do me a favor, message them on LinkedIn today and just say, hey, Jerry, didn't see you on the Friday VIP office hours. How's your job search going? Doesn't it feel good when people reach out to you and they ask that question, how's your job search going? Because when you are in career transition, it can feel very isolating. You don't have that team, right? You don't have the morning stand-ups and the weekly team meetings and anything anymore. And you're kind of at an island unless you reach out and you find groups like the groups that are being organized by Diana and Linda and Kenneth and Paul and all these other people. So make sure that you're finding your community, surrounding yourself. You need a support system because this is definitely an emotional roller coaster that you're going through when you're in career transition. I've been there myself. You're going to have some highs. Things are going great. You're getting job interviews. It looks like you're getting an offer, and then you're going to have a low. The next day they say, we went with another candidate, and everything's drying up for you. And you feel like, gosh, it's been 6 months, it's been 9 months. So make sure that you're surrounding yourself with other job seekers and you're getting into these communities because there's some really great resources that are out there. I also want to let you know we do have a group on LinkedIn. It is a private, unlisted group. I'm going to drop it into the chat for all of you once more here. And I'll let you know that this is something that if you ever are seeing job openings, job postings, things like that, feel free to drop it inside of the group. Maybe you can't remember exactly who it was that was looking for a project manager position in New York City. Drop it into the group in there. And it's a great way of helping to connect job seekers with opportunities. All right, and let's see. We're going to now move into Q&A. So this is the way that this will work. If you have a question related to your job search, I want you to type in the word question. I'm going to just do a quick example of this right now. The word question in all caps followed by the question. So I always use my standard question, do you like coffee, as an example. That's not a job search question. A job search question would probably be, how do I get more recruiters to look at my LinkedIn profile? Or should I be using Chat GPT as I create my resume? Does that help or hurt us against the ATS? Or can I negotiate salary if I'm in career transition? So whatever your questions are related to your job search, don't be shy, raise your hand. There's probably someone else in the group who has the same question. If you're nervous about your question, you can say, I have a friend who is asking me about Joey and I created this as a little way of asking a question without outing yourself. I have a friend who was wondering about telling the truth on your resume. I saw this in a LinkedIn post this week. Someone is telling people to lie on your resume to get interviews. This is something that is making the rounds right now. People are saying, lie on your resume to get interviews and then tell them the truth after you get the interview. Like, I don't know why you would do this. I don't know who is spreading this advice. I do not agree with it because once you've eliminated trust from the equation and they discover that, I don't think you're any better off than you were to start with. So again, we're going to be taking your questions. Do not be shy. And you also can have the opportunity, if you have a success story, I want to put in the word success in all caps in chat. I'm going to call on you and I'm going to say, what's your success story? What would you like to share with us? A success story might be, I got a job. I'm going back to work. It might be my LinkedIn profile is getting more reviews by recruiters or people are noticing things differently. It might be I've completed a program by Linda and I want to brag about it. Or Diana's really helped me out with my career strategy. I want to tell you about it. Or I was in Paul's group last week and he really helped to give me confidence. Like, tell us about those success stories. Anything that you deem to be a success on your path to finding a new job, we want to hear about it. The chat's really quiet right now, guys. I'm not seeing any questions and I'm not seeing any success stories. So I'm going to give an alternative. If anyone would like a LinkedIn profile review, we'll give you a couple quick pointers. Go into chat and type in profile review, and we will pull your profile up on screen and we'll give you some pointers. I know people are shy sometimes, and I don't want you to be shy. I want you to ask questions. Okay, Suzanne, we see you asking a question. How do you transition to another industry with your skill set? Currently a quality engineer with a heavy automotive background. I have had five interviews that I was not the chosen candidate, tons of traffic from recruiters. Again, all stars, raise your hand if you have any responses here as I'm finishing this question. She has had 5 interviews that she was not the chosen candidate, tons of traffic from recruiters, pretty decent quality experience background, currently employed, barely getting 30 hours per week and need to move on quickly. All right, Paul, you have some advice, and Linda, what do you have advice for Suzanne?
Suzanne, I love this question, and I've been there and done this myself. You know, one of the things we have to remember to do in transitioning from one career or role or industry to another is connect the dots for the interviewer. They're not going to do it on their own, right? So start by changing out all your jargon. Use the jargon of the place you want to go, not where you've been, right? Think, and I say this all the time, the number one, if there is in my book, my idea, a rule about job search, the number one rule of job search from my perspective is your job search is not about you. Your job search is about the hiring manager. So I need to think about, what does the hiring manager want? What does the hiring manager need? How do I need to say it in a way that the hiring manager understands it, right? Everything I say, everything I do, everything I put in writing needs to be done from that perspective of, what does the boss want to know? And if I'm doing a good job of that, you'll make those connections. And I'm going to take just another quick 30 seconds and give you that example. I went from corporate aviation sales to managing the career services department of a trade school. Totally different things, right? But when you break down what is it that a career services person does in a trade school, they operate very much like a staffing agency, which means we're salespeople. We have to sell people on hiring kids that are recent graduates who don't know anything, and we have to sell those recent graduates on taking a job they think is beneath them. So once I changed everything in my job search to talk in the terms of education and sales versus aviation and sales, it was a real easy transition to make, and the hiring managers understood it completely. So there's what I would say to you. Thanks.
Thank you, Paul. Linda, what do you have to offer?
I'm going to build on that. Hiring managers don't care about everything you've ever done. They care about what you can do for them. And actually making that transition from one industry, from one kind of job to another is easier than you think it is. But it's up to you to make that sale, if you will. You've got the skill set. You need to be able to demonstrate how those skills, how that experience, how your accomplishments fit them. So everything you talk about has to be based on what they need, how you sell yourself, how you solve their problems. When you do that, when, as Paul said, you connect the dots, you're demonstrating to them that you can do what they need, that you're their problem solver. And in many ways, coming from outside the industry is a positive rather than a negative if you sell it that way. You have the subject matter expertise. You know what's going on. You know how to bring all of that together. And you're coming into the situation not only with that expertise, but also without the preconceived notions of how it works here. So you're coming in with those fresh eyes to build that perspective based on your experience and what's good for them. It's an approach that works, and it works well.
Brenda, I want to just add one more thing, because I see a comment from Bill about identifying your transferable skills, and it goes beyond just identifying the skill. We all have skills that are useful anywhere we want to go. We have to put them, as Linda and I have said, in those terms that the new hiring manager is going to understand. So yes, we need to know what our transferable skills are, but then we need to translate them into that new industry. Sorry. Thanks.
No problem at all. All right. Thank you, Linda, and thank you, Paul. Suzanne, I'm not sure if you're able to unmute or not, but I have a couple of questions I want to ask you to clarify, because you said you're a quality engineer, you're looking to
Yes.
transition. What role are you looking to transition into?
What I thought about is taking my quality experience into even the medical healthcare field,
Okay.
which I recently, one of the interviews I had that I was hoping to get, they were willing to take people from an automotive background, even though it was basically high-end juvenile products. And I made it to the third interview, and the reason why it was frustrating is because it was not till the third interview that they heavily fixated on conformance background, which I didn't have. And when we talk about all this keyword stuff, the first thing I thought was, wouldn't you have put that in a search on my resume if that was like the crux of your biggest focus with this position? And why would you wait until the third interview to kind of go, okay, this is really heavy in conformance. We see that, you don't have experience in this. And it was a huge letdown, because up until that point, they had great conversations with me. That's why they kept taking me to that next level. They were about to bring me down to their plant in North Carolina. And I was like, God, this could be like a huge transitional opportunity for me to get away from automotive. And then that happened, and then they just ghosted me.
That's
And
really
that,
frustrating. Yeah.
yes, it was, because I was actually like, I was excited about the change of industry, because right now it's like once you get into automotive, you're kind of like, you feel like you're stuck, you know, right where I'm at currently. I'm 1 foot in the door of government and defense, but I'm still in the door of automotive. So I'm not quite like away from it yet.
Okay, so here's what I want to offer to you. I want to like put on my detective hat a little bit, you know, and trying to figure out like you're making it through 5 interviews that you weren't the chosen candidate. So you're making it past the
Yes.
first round interview. You're getting into second or finalist interviews, it sounds like. Is that correct?
Yeah, I'm getting like the screening with some of these people, like a Zoom call, and then they're like, okay, we want to meet you in person. We want you to
Okay.
come to our plant. So I get to even the second, but then you don't get past it. And it's frustrating, because a lot of times I hear you have a great background, you have a lot of experience, you know, you have degrees, you have like 10 years in quality. And at some point you go somewhere, and the thing I run into as well is, oh wait, you don't have this. You know,
Yeah.
there's
Okay.
always, they find the one thing I don't have.
Okay, so what I want you to listen for are the clues on why they, you know, when you're doing the first round interview, if you're not already doing this, I want you to start getting into the habit of asking the question, what was it from my resume that prompted you to reach out to me for the interview? So I
Okay.
want you to focus on what you do have and what you do bring into the role.
Okay.
And pay attention to when they say you have this, but not that. So
Okay.
if you have this, but not that, I would always counter with a yes. And the good thing is I'm a lifelong learner and I learn new skill sets really easily. And the
Yes.
great thing is that I'm just making this up. Quality control is really related to compliance because, and then connect the dots. So they're both
Okay.
focused on X, Y, and Z. And I don't want you to downplay the automotive thing. I mean, automotive is a really powerful industry and it's really sophisticated and all this.
Yeah.
And, you know, when they say, well, you've only done automotive. Well, really, what I've only done, I don't want to say only done, but what I've
Yeah.
been doing is I'm not building cars. I am a quality engineer who's applied that to the automotive industry. So
Yes.
here's what I want you to do, Suzanne. I want you to list out, get a notepad and list out all of the skills that you've gained as a quality engineer, like all of the things that you've gained as a result of doing, you know, in that role. And there's probably going to be some sophisticated technical skills and software, and there's also going to be some soft skills,
Yes.
team management, for example, mentoring people, and list all of those things out. And then in a second column, I want you to list the role that you're applying for and list all the skills, the required skills that they're saying for the position. And then I
Okay.
want you to match up transferable skills and focus on that in the interview. And if they say, and you're in the second round interview and they're looking at counting you out, you know, and they're saying, well, you have this, but you really don't have compliance background.
Yeah.
I want you to start getting comfortable with saying, I don't have that yet, but it's something that I'm very comfortable learning. And the great thing is that there's so many things that are transferable. And obviously, there was something that you saw in my resume and background, or we wouldn't be having this conversation today,
Yeah,
right?
exactly. Yep.
Okay. So I want you to almost like get comfortable backing them in the corner about why you're the best candidate going forward. And also, I want to ask the question. I know you said you've been ghosted by a few.
Yes.
So, I come from a marketing background where we know we don't just reach out once. We have to reach out, and there's so many different touch points. I've heard everything from like 7 to 16 different touch points that you have to do.
Yes.
As a job seeker, every interview that you have at the end of the interview, you should be, you know, definitely asking them what was it, if it didn't come up already, what was it that prompted you to reach out to get this interview? So focusing in on the skills that brought you in. The
Okay.
other thing you need to get comfortable asking is, what's your next step in on the process? What's your timeline in the next step in on the process? You don't have to say, are you calling me back for a second interview? Because they might not know that yet. They're not going to
Yeah.
answer. But what's your timeline on the next step in the process? They
Okay.
should tell you, we're still interviewing people through the end of the month. We're going to start second round interviews the first week of April. I'm just making that up.
Yeah.
The last week of the month, like a week before they set up those next step, I'm going to reach out. Hey, Joey, just wanted to remind you, very interested in the compliance officer position. Here's my contact information, my email, my cell phone. If I don't hear back from you by the end of the week, I'll be contacting you again next Friday. Thanks again, your consideration. Very excited about this role. Next Friday, they don't follow up with you. You send them another email. I would do this 4 weeks in a row because I want you to assume they are busy until they tell you we are no longer interested in you or you've gone in another direction. Assume they are busy because sometimes they are really just busy. And I
Yeah.
want you to be top of mind. I want you to be professional, polite, and friendly in your approach, not like pushy or rude, but I want you
Yeah.
to be like, here's my information 4 weeks in a row. Then I move to a 2 week frequency. You skip a
Yeah.
week and you do another one. And then you skip a week and you do another follow up. And then the last one after that is the ball's in your court. Joey, you know where to find me when you're ready to move forward. And I'm continuing to look at other opportunities. Here's my phone and email, and that's it. Joey, did you have something to add to that?
Don't get me started, Brenda. At a minimum, Suzanne, at a minimum, since you've made it to 1,500 interviews with this company, and if this is a place you really want to work,
Yes.
please listen to what Brenda's saying about being polite and friendly and positive and upbeat and professional.
Yes.
If they hire somebody else, which they probably will, it's possible that person is not going to fit into the culture. They're not going to be a nice person, or as we say in the Bronx, they're going to be a putz, right? So that person may be let go. If you stay in touch with this company, not every day, but once a month, right?
Yes.
They may say, you know what? Remember that woman, Suzanne? She didn't know conformance, but you don't know, right? So,
Yes.
don't burn your bridges until they tell you cease and desist. Don't cease and don't desist.
Okay. I get ya.
All right, Suzanne, was that helpful for you today?
Yes, yeah, absolutely. Like I said, when you hear it so many times from people that call you like, God, you have such a great background, you'd be a perfect fit for blah, blah, blah. And then you don't even get like the interview. So it's sort of, you keep wondering like, where is the step that I'm going wrong that I can't get to the interview either. So I wish they would tell you just to say they passed on you because you didn't have whatever software. Then at least I could go like, oh, if I have the opportunity to learn this, I can go learn it. You know what I'm saying?
Yep, I hear it.
Let me just say one thing, Brenda, if I may. So don't ruminate so much, Suzanne, on again, Brenda's point. Don't ruminate so much on what they didn't do, right? Focus on the positive and be upbeat and just focus on that stuff and let that stuff go away, right? Don't even because if you ruminate on it, it starts to infiltrate your body, your DNA, and your speech, and you don't want to be that person. You want to be upbeat and positive, right? And
no, very true.
right. So just stop the negative talk. Sorry.
I gotcha.
All right. And I want to summarize for something. This is something I heard from someone years ago. If you are applying to positions regularly, and you definitely should be applying to positions regularly, and you're never getting initial interviews, phone screens, or that first round interview, and this advice is not just for you, Suzanne, but for everyone in the call here. If you're never getting interviews, there's probably a mismatch with your resume and the job posting. So it might be a perceived mismatch, and that's why you want to reach out to people like Linda and Diana and others who can help you with your resume. So by the way, any of you who are resume writers in the Career All-Stars, drop your info in chat right now because there might be people needing some help with their resume. So if you're not getting initial interviews, it might be a problem or a mismatch with what they're seeing on your resume compared to the job posting. If you're getting initial first round interviews, but you're never moving into the second round, it could be a particular issue with your interviewing skills. It might be a blind spot that you're not seeing. Maybe you're always twirling your hair when you're getting nervous, or you're saying a lot, or you're never making eye contact because you're nervous, or you're rambling, or you're downplaying things instead of playing up on your skills. So it could be an interviewing issue. There are people in the group here who can help with interviewing, and I think there's even some job seeker groups that do like mock interviews with each other. Alternatively, you can reach out to your college or university. They might offer mock interviews. So if you're not getting second round, it might be an issue with interviewing, right? So these are just some little things to help to troubleshoot, like where are things breaking down, where's there an opportunity for improvement. So thank you, Suzanne. There's probably others in the group with similar questions.
you.
Thanks for starting us off here today.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. Okay, so another question. This is from Amy, and Amy Brooks mentions, I'm on the dual path. Brenda talked about pursuing full-time leadership role and seriously considering self-employed portfolio career. Can you please share top tips for doing this confidently, productively, and with clarity? So I'm going to ask our all-stars if anyone has any thoughts on this to please raise your hand. I think I see Mindy's hand being raised. So Mindy, do you want to start us off?
Absolutely. Let me know if you can't hear me.
Yep, we can hear you. We're good.
Perfect. So, hi, Amy. I love this question because so many people are on dual paths right now. We're looking, but we're also thinking, could we start something on our own? That's exactly where I started right away. And most of us think, I'm in a job, I just lost my job, I'm going to get another job. And then as the time goes on, you think, hey, I have skills, right? I have things I can do. So number one tip I would give you, number one, you've got to know what your niche is. What can you provide to someone else that they're going to find valuable and that they might pay you for, right? And that's a big leap, right? When you're in a corporate role, you get paid every day no matter what you do. When you are opening your own business, you need to really fine tune what is it that you offer. Okay, number one. Number two, I know we say this for job seekers, but it is doubly important for people who are starting their own business. Network, network, network. You've got to start looking at your network, make sure it's deep enough, right? And wide enough. Make sure that you have people that you can rely on to ask questions. When I started my own business, I actually started a board of directors and I tapped into people I knew. I spoke to my marketing director from my former company and I said, hey, what do I need to think about? I spoke to an accountant. I spoke to someone in legal. One of my best friends was the lawyer, and we started brainstorming all these things, and I started getting a group of people together that could help me, because you cannot do it all on your own. So that networking is absolutely key. And the third item, you got to be sure you got some kind of financial safety net, because opening your own business it doesn't happen overnight. It takes time to get clients. It takes time to get the money rolling in. You got to make sure there's some kind of financial safety net. If you got a severance or something else, you've put away some money to save. Those are my top 3 tips. Is that helpful?
Thank you very much, Mindy. I really appreciate it. You don't know how much. So thank you.
Absolutely. And Amy, feel free to reach out. I've been there, done that. So I'm happy to talk you through more stuff. There's a lot.
Thank you.
Amy, let me put in my 2 cents if I may. So I'm looking at your
Sure.
question. You want to be confident and productive, you got to be clear. Your clarity comes first. In terms of
Okay.
a full-time leadership role, I always suggest to people, write the job ad that you would respond to if you saw it online or in a newspaper or a magazine, and be as specific as possible. Be clear about what you want to do, where you want to do it, why you want to do it, who you want to do it for, when you want to do it. Right? Be as specific as possible. That'll help the clarity, and then we'll start improving upon your confidence and your productivity. Same thing if you want to become self-employed. Are you selling a service or are you selling a product? Right there, you got to know. And back to Mindy's point, you can't sell that product or service to everybody, because nobody's going to be interested. Be focused, have a niche, come up with the avatar of the person who would buy your product or service, and think about that person on an hourly basis, right? When you're thinking about this business that you want to start, imagine them sitting at the table with you. Ask them questions. How would they respond to what you're doing? You got to be clear. You got to be focused. You got to be specific, because otherwise, everything around you is going to be vying for your attention. And since you're not employed and you got nothing to do, you'll be so easy to go off on. Right? Have
Exactly.
videos, joke of the day, breaking news from CNN, right? You got to put all that stuff aside and stay focused.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Diana.
And Amy, this is one of the things I work on quite a bit with clients, but I think one of the first things to do is take a look at your skills and your talents and your hobbies, things that you're interested in, and what all can be monetized. One of the next steps is, if you're in transition right now and you are getting unemployment, you want to get very clear on what you can earn part-time while you're getting unemployment. It takes a while to ramp up a self-employed business and network and get things going. You also want to think about your LinkedIn presence and how you want to advertise that on LinkedIn and start posting accordingly. But what I usually work with people on is consulting work, part-time work, things where you can leverage your skills and make money on the side. That's just start getting that going. But it's key to understand the impact on unemployment if you are getting that, and then any other NDAs or anything you might have, that are specific to your situation. So make sure you have all the practical steps in place, and then start looking at other. But happy to brainstorm with you on that. I brainstorm with all my clients on that, and we go down a lot of different paths. And I've got one suggesting that she do some things with cats. And I've got to talk to other people about doing things with travel and things like that, because of what they're interested in, blogging and things like that. So there's a lot of ways to get started and monetize.
Thank you very much. And
After the
I
check letter.
appreciate the comments around getting very clear on the skills and experiences I have. And I've done some of that, including gotten some feedback from Brenda earlier this week. And I know I've got more iterating on that. So thank you for that validation there. I appreciate all of the input from the three of you.
All right, thank you. And I'm going to finish this off because I'm going to share a little bit about what I shared with you, Amy, in our coaching call. So, and this might help others in the group as well. If you are currently in career transition, looking for a full-time job, and you're also starting to think about self-employment as another path and ramping that up, and how do you not jeopardize either? Meaning you don't want recruiters not to take you seriously because it looks like you're leaning into being a coach or consultant, and you don't want potential coaching or consulting clients not to sign on with you because you might be one foot out the door as soon as you get a job. So my advice for all of you who might be in this situation where you're really on the fence about which side do you look at, you have to figure out what's your top priority. And for many of you, your top priority right now is finding a full-time job because you need to get back on salary and benefits. Okay. So that's your top priority. That's on your profile. Okay. Now, what I would do is I would create a company page. You can create a company page without even having an LLC or anything. And you can create a company page. And this is what I did. I created a company page. I called it Meller Marketing, put a logo in there, all that good stuff. Create it for free on Canva, by the way. And in the description for Meller Marketing, I said, while I'm looking for my next full-time position in marketing leadership in Metro Detroit, I'm taking on part-time and project work in the areas of marketing and LinkedIn through Meller Marketing. Contact me at email address to learn more. So that says, hey, recruiters, my top priority is you. It's to find a job. But it also says, I'm in demand. People are approaching me for project work, and I'm taking on some things to bring in some money because I'm not just sitting on my couch waiting for unemployment and keeping my fingers crossed. I'm staying busy and I am in demand. And that keeps that door open for coaching and consulting clients. At some point, like me, you might go, wow, I'm bringing in enough revenue that I could actually make this a thing. Then you flip the switch on here, and your top priority on your profile then becomes your consulting coaching business. Maybe a description for Meller Marketing says, I'm now growing my business as a coach consultant as I continue to look at full-time marketing leadership positions in Metro Detroit. So that says, hey, it's a second priority. I'm still available. The door's open for a conversation, but you're going to have to work a little harder to get me because this business is going pretty well, which, by the way, might make you appealing to a recruiter or hiring manager. She's in demand, right? She's already getting this business going off. So figure out what your top priority is, build your LinkedIn profile from there. There are certainly ways through your profile that you can hide a little bit of the side hustle until it starts to take off. And if you'd like to learn more, I do one-on-one coaching and I help my clients with that. So do keep that in mind. Thank you so much, Amy, for asking that question. I'm going to remove you from the spotlight. And we're going to go probably just a few minutes over on today's call. I see two more questions in the chat, and I want to make sure to get both of these answered today. So our next question, and I need some help figuring, I think this might be Belle Riskin asks, my previous employers did not invest in HRIS or ATS systems, which are commonly expected as a part of HR professionals' experience. As a result, I'm finding it challenging to gain the necessary expertise. Additionally, with so many systems available, I'm struggling to find the right classes to help me build this skill set. Any advice? So we have a question from Belle about learning HRS and ATS systems. I want to see if our Career Strategy All-Stars have any advice for Belle about this issue. And if you do, please raise your hand. Okay. Paul, I see your hand is raised. What advice do you have for Belle?
Hi, Belle. I think I typed this in for you into the chat, but a lot of the vendors who provide those software will do free training and lunch and learns on their software to try and get new clients and customers. So reach out to them, find out when they're doing that, and participate in those events. That'll help you to learn and understand how they work and what they do. That may also get you access to an actual certification, quote, training course that they offer on their software.
Do you think being unemployed would be a block?
No.
No?
No, they want to get in front of as many people as possible when it's a sales thing and recognize that their primary purpose for doing this is to sell their product, right? And they'll know that when you do get a job, if you like their product, you're going to try and bring it to that company. So they're going to be happy to have you there.
Okay, thanks very much.
Thank you, Paul. Linda.
The other thing, Bella, is that an ATS is really just a database. So if you know how to use any database,
Yeah.
until you learn their database, whatever the company's is, because they're all so different,
Right.
talk about your database experience. We all know that there are probably 100 different ATS systems out there. So for a company to say you don't know our ATS, you're right, I don't. However, that's a good thing because here's my expertise in database usage. I know how to put the information in. I know how to clean it. More importantly, I know how to pull it out to make the reports and to generate the information that you need in order to do X. Okay. And so use that as an advantage rather than the disadvantage, in addition to doing whatever reading you can, contacting the vendors and trying to get some information. But don't expect to know everybody's system. Nobody can.
Thank you. I feel a little more confident now.
Good.
All right, thank you. And Belle, I'm going to finish us off with this and then we'll move on to our next question. So your question was your previous employer didn't have it, so you haven't used it from an HR perspective. I'm curious, as a candidate, have you applied through ATS systems?
Of course.
So you have experience using ATS systems. You also have experience as an HR professional.
Right.
What you haven't done is use it as an HR professional from the back end looking through candidates. Now you've used it from the front end as a candidate. So you are bringing together both of those experiences. You have experiences applying through multiple ATS systems as a result of the candidate experience process. And you also have HR strategy experience, the traditional HR strategy experience. If I were you, honestly, if you're looking at learning an HRIS or ATS system, just pick any. Pick any one to learn about. And then when they ask the question, do you have any experience in HRS and ATS systems? Yes, I've used XYZ system, or I've been training myself in the XYZ system. In addition, as I've been in career transition, I have gained so much experience on the candidate experience, and I have some insights that I could draw and bring into the role. So now I've just made a negative a positive into that. What do you think about that?
I think it's great.
Yeah, good. All right, awesome.
I've never
Thank you
even
so
thought of
much.
that perspective. Thank you.
Yeah, and just make a negative a positive and build upon the experience you do have. Just learned one thing, and say my experience also as a candidate is that all these ATS systems are very different depending on the company. The
Right.
good thing is I have the ability to learn. The good thing is I have all these great experiences working in HR, and I've also got these experiences as a candidate going through the process, and I'm eager to hit the ground running and learn your system and help you to find candidates, right?
Well, thank you so much.
Awesome. Thank you, Val. All right, great question. And we're going to end off. We've got, whoops, I'm trying to remove you from the spotlight. I've got one more question. I was at my last job for 30 plus years. Can't hide that on a resume. I think this was from Bill. I can do a functional resume, but many ATSs parse for chronological and ask when you graduated college. I'm in grad school now. Congratulations to you, Bill. That's awesome. Any suggestions on how to approach this? So All Stars, Career Strategy All Stars. I'm like shining the bat light out to you right now. Who can help out Bill he's got 30 plus years experience and it sounds like he wants to hide it on a resume is his concern. So what does Bill do? Joey, start us off and then Linda.
Again, I don't know where to start, but I'll go quickly. So don't hide your age. It's not necessary. I don't think it is. That's my humble opinion. I know other people will argue with me. They're going to figure out soon how old you are once they see you. But I go back to the story of Captain Sully, right? There wasn't a person on that plane who was praying that their pilot was 30 years old. So you bring a wealth of knowledge and experience and expertise to the company. It's something you should tout on a regular basis, not be ashamed of it. If you don't include your college graduation date on the resume, two things are going to happen. One, they're going to say, his resume doesn't have his college graduation date. He must be old. So the one thing you don't want them to think about is the first thing they're going to think about. Secondly, if you don't include your graduation date, they also may be thinking, what else is missing from this resume? What else is he leaving out? So don't do that. No surprises. Be upfront. Be transparent. Tell them who you are. Show them what you're about. And if they don't want you, they're lost. But you can't go around hiding the fact that you've got 30 plus years of experience that's going to go to waste. Somebody can benefit from it.
Thank you, Joey.
Yep.
Linda, love his responses, by the way. Thank you. Go ahead, Linda.
Here we go. Okay, so a couple of things. Number one, I'm older too. Like many of us, we've had numbers of years of experience behind us. Build on that experience. But if you're concerned in terms of the resume itself, one of the things that I suggest is that those 30 years of experience that you have probably aren't all going to be useful for the job you're looking for. You've probably had several different jobs within those 30 years. So if you're concerned about it, find a break. So let's say you've had 3 different jobs, 5 different jobs. Pick the date for one of those jobs and make that your start date for the company for the resume. So let's say you've had 5 different jobs, right? The rest of them, they're older anyway. That experience is still there. List it though as additional related experience. That way you don't have to spend a lot of time on it. It's not that useful, honestly, from a recruiting standpoint. Do I want to know that you've got that longevity? Yes. Do I want to know what some of that experience is? Yes. But if it's older than 10 to 15 years, I may discount it anyway. So put that relevant experience there, the last 10 to 15 years of your job. And then the additional, if you want to, list as additional related experience, which still allows you to talk about the skills that you learn, the experiences that you have, the stories that you can bring in from that time frame without aging that experience on the resume. People are going to know how old you are. Joey's right. Okay. But there's no need to necessarily flaunt it. Sorry, on the resume itself, because the experience that you're looking for, the experience that employers are looking for is that which is most recent, not that which was 30 years ago. Things have changed too much. And yes, we are experience rich, Brenda.
Yeah, there we go. You all know I'm like on this rampage of like experience rich, and I created a podcast, called it Experience Rich. I've done some webinars profiling people who are experience rich. And I want you to keep in mind that you can position your age as an asset. Let me try that again. You can position your age and your experience as an asset. If you are feeling like when you're applying for a position that your age is being considered against you, I want you to bring it, I want you to address it like the elephant in the room. And I want you to say in the interview, I know, Paul, that you're only looking for someone with 3 to 5 years of experience, and you're probably getting a lot of these young, inexperienced candidates coming in. And what's going to happen with them is they're going to come in and they're going to take the job. And in about a year and a half, they're going to, or even less than that, maybe 6 months, they're going to ask for a promotion. And if they don't get that promotion, they're going to start looking and they're going to be out of here in 2 years. The great thing about me is I'm experience rich and I bring so many industry experiences and backgrounds into this position. I know what the job is because I've read the job description. I wouldn't be applying for the position if I thought I was overqualified and looking for the next rung up. This is exactly what I want to do. I am mature. I will show up on time. I understand how to play nicely within the office and to build allies and to work within the organization. I understand office politics, all that other good stuff. I will be a great worker for you. I will be a great contributor. By the way, in 6 months, I'm not going to ask for a promotion and leave because this is the dream job. This is what I am looking for. So I'm not sure if you're seeing this from other experience-rich candidates, but I want to make sure that you know this is what I bring to the table for you. Okay. So positioning your age as an asset. I was just doing a quick look up on the web. And I want to let you know, without getting political about things, I was looking up what are the ages of leaders across the world of different nations and things like that. And I'm not going to name names, but the top 10 range in age. The youngest is 83, the oldest is 92. These are people that are still working and are leading countries and organizations from across the world. You can find examples of this in just about every industry in the world. You can find examples of people who are working well past the retirement age, right? So again, I want you to position your age and experiences as assets. I agree with Joey. I don't think you should hide it because you're going to show up for an interview and they're going to see that you're not some 24-year-old kid. So why not embrace it? Make sure that your LinkedIn profile has a current photo of you. A professional photo is preferable. Go to a photo city or get a professional headshot photographer because we want to position you in the best light possible, right? Make sure you don't have a dated email like an AOL or a Hotmail. They don't make those anymore. Make sure you're using a Gmail address in there. And make sure that you are addressing it. If you feel like age could be against you in a job interview situation, address the elephant in the room. Position your experiences and your age as an asset to the position, that you bring in stability, that you bring in all of these experiences and you know what to expect in the role. I think you could position that as an access. Linda says, we don't have an expiration date as an employee. I love it. Sandra says, Ruth Bader Ginsburg worked to the end and added so much value. There's so many examples of this that you see, and there's different people who are entrepreneurs who just started their business when they turned 40 or 50 or 60, right? So if you bring that energy and enthusiasm and confidence in what you offer to a company, I think they'll see that, and that will continue to keep you on through the process. All right, my friends, I'm going to start to wrap us up for the day. And first of all, I want to thank our Career Strategy All-Stars for helping out with the call here today. I know a couple of them have already dropped off. Diana's still on, Linda's still on, Joey's still on. I think the others may have dropped off, but I want to thank the Career Strategy All-Stars for helping out with the questions. I want to thank all of you for being a part of these calls month after month. I do hope for those of you who are considering maybe shifting to looking at self-employment that you'll continue on with us next month. I am going to be changing the Zoom link, so you'll need to pay attention to email and get the registration for that if you're interested in joining us for the future calls. Again, we're going to be shifting our focus from helping job seekers who are in career transition looking for a new full-time job. Our new focus on the first Friday of the month is going to be job seekers who are in career transition, who are considering making this shift to starting their own business and becoming self-employed. So that will be the new focus moving forward on our Friday VIP office hours. And you'll be getting more information in email about that. What else? Final reminders. You can download the chat. If you go into the area where it says chat, either at the bottom of your chat or at the top, you'll see 3 little dots. Click on that and you can save chat. That'll save it to your downloads folder. Okay. And that way you can go back later and invite Christopher to connect with you or look at Diana's resources, or anything that was mentioned on the call will be included in there. You can also watch the playback on our YouTube channel. I'm going to drop that link in the chat one last time here. Playback is here. And if there's any advice that, we maybe went a little bit quick and you want to review it again, open up that YouTube channel right now, just bookmark it, and then you can come back and watch that again later. And this episode will be converted out to my podcast. I have 2 podcasts right now. This podcast will be on the Experience Rich podcast, and I'm going to drop the link into chat. It's a limited series. I'll have about 10 or 15 episodes, and that will be it there. But you can listen to that on my podcast if you'd like to as well. With that said, thank you all so much for being a part of this wonderful job seeking community that we've created. I do look forward to seeing your career successes on LinkedIn, and I hope to see some of you in our next month's call. Have a great weekend, everyone, and we will see you on LinkedIn. Take care.
Thank you. Hasta la vista, baby. Ciao. Arrivederci.